Okay, and today we're going to do a continuation of the punctuation that we already learned before. Okay, so we learned 5 punctuations before. Now we are going to go forward to the next punctuations. All right, now the remaining punctuation are not so important, okay, but they are important. All right, but you should know them. The main thing is you should know about this. And so today's class is all about that. You need to know. Some of them are very, very important, and some of them you know them, you've been using them, but you don't know the names of it. Okay, so let's try to understand what they are, right? So let's begin. So here, okay. Now, the first one we're going to learn in this list is colon. Colon, not colon, no colon, it's colon. Now, can you see the right hand side? Okay, right hand side top of the screen, you can see how a colon looks. All right, this is how it looks. Now, when is the colon used? That is to announce. When you're announcing, to introduce, you're introducing something, to direct attention to a list, to get your attention towards a list of things that are supposed to be spoken, or a list of things that are there. A quotation. Okay, let's understand what's a quotation. We learn it in a while. A definition, you know, or an example. For example, let's try to understand this sentence which is there. It says, these are some things you need to pack. Now a list is given to you. What are the things? A mask, a pair of gloves, a sanitizer, and some tissue papers. Can you see it's a list? Now before you start a list, you will use a colon right there. You saw? Okay. So whenever you start a list, before you start a list, you can put a colon. But see to it that it's not before a verb. Okay. So for example, I want a banana. Da, da, da. So want is a verb. So you'll not use it that time. But whenever there is no verb or something, you can use this very well. Right? Now let's go to the next one. Uh, Look at this sentence. Okay. Look at this picture over here. Honesty is the best policy. It's told by Benjamin Franklin. You all know this quotation very well. You know it. If I tell me one proverb, you will say yes. Honesty is the best policy. It's the one you've by hearted so well, right? Now, who's spoken this? Who has given this quote? It is given by Benjamin Franklin. Now, these are actually called as quotes, which great people have spoken. Okay, so these are some thoughts which are there. When you have to mention these thoughts, that time you will always use a colon. That is, for example, Benjamin Franklin said, what did he say? What are his words? His words are, honesty is the best policy. Now, whenever you see honesty, see that you use a capital letter. That is only because of the apostrophe marks over there. Okay, whenever you start with apostrophe, you need a capital letter. But see the first sentence, you do not need a capital letter over there. After a colon, it is not necessary that you use a capital letter. So Benjamin Franklin said, colon, honesty is the best policy. Like that, you can have any quotes. People who have said so many things. Whenever you start before that quote, you should always use a colon. Okay. Now next, for example, sun, moon, stars, asteroids, planets. Now I am giving an example. So whenever you give an example, okay, you use the colon. So how many times have you used this? Now, I sent a notice today in the group, in the WhatsApp group. And if you see, I have used the colon there. So you have actually been using colon a lot of times, but you didn't know this is the name given to this particular punctuation. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, next, when and all is the colon used? It's once we saw how it's used there. Now, it's also used to express time and ratio. So you've always been using whenever you've written time, you've been using that colon. 12:30 colon 30 a.m. You've always been using it, right? Okay. Now another one is ratio. What is ratio? Don't worry, you will learn about ratio in your maths very soon. You'll learn it. Okay. But let's try to quickly understand right now what is ratio. 3 and 2 is given. If I say 3 is to 2, if I take something for three things, it has to be equal to 2. So for example, I'm taking 3 spoons of sugar. If I take 3 spoons of sugar, I should take 2 spoons of cocoa, which means it's a 3 is to 2 ratio. So whenever 3 is to 2 comes, a ratio, that colon mark always comes. Clear? So this is colon. Keep this in mind. Let's go to the next one. Next is uska bhai, semicolon. But don't think it is the same. It's different. Their function also is different. So how is a semicolon written? Look at the right hand side corner. Okay. It's written with a dot and a comma down. Okay. It's a dot and a comma down. Now, to connect two complete sentences and show that they are connected. Now, they are connecting two complete sentence, means there is no problem in the sentence. It's a complete sentence. For example, my Barbie doll looks pretty. Full stop. Okay, full stop. She has blue eyes. It's a complete sentence. Full stop. Dono two sentence, both are complete. But, okay. My Barbie doll looks pretty. I want to connect both these together. That's when I will remove that full stop and I will put a semicolon. And I can get one whole sentence, okay? But what? I have used a semicolon, all right? The capital letter will always be there, okay? Don't mix it together. Now remember, this actually takes the place of conjunctions also. Okay, so you should be very careful when you use a semicolon, whether it is really necessary to take a semicolon or no. Okay, fifth C, Gayatri is doing something on the screen. Please stop doing that, baby. It will be really good if you stop doing it. Okay, next. Okay, next sentence here is, I like strawberries. My mother likes mangoes. Two complete sentence. I like strawberries. Full stop. My mother likes mangoes. Full stop. Finish. Now, I want to connect these. They have two sentences, but I want to show that they are related to each other. There is a connection between them. That's when I will remove the full stop from there and put my semicolon. Then I get, I like strawberries. My mother likes mangoes. Clear? Okay. Now, this semicolon is actually between the comma and a full stop. Comma is a short pause. Okay. Full stop is a very big pause. और उन दोनों के बीच में जो आता है वो है semicolon. उसका pause उतना है. Clear? This is all about when we speak, we use the semicolon. We keep it in mind, and that's how we use our pauses in the sentences. Okay? When we read it. Now next, when do we use a semicolon? To separate items in complex series. अभी complex series का मतलब क्या? Complex मतलब confusing series. Don't worry about big words. इसका मतलब बहुत easy है. Confusing. अभी ये sentence कितना confusing है बोलो. I went to school on 5th, comma Monday, comma 18th, comma Thursday, comma 22nd, comma Friday and yesterday. ऐसा लगता है मैं कितने दिन गया मैं स्कूल? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days I went to school. But actually that's not what it's trying to say. 5th के बाद comma आता ही है before Monday, but after that 18th के बाद Thursday, उसके बीच में comma आना चाहिए, but there's one comma in between here, Monday and 18th, which is not so necessary. When a problem like this comes, to show that they are different, we remove that comma and instead of that we put the semicolon. Okay, so I went to school on 5th, comma Monday. Then it's the next one, 18th, comma Thursday. Again, that comma is over there, which is not necessary. So I'll remove that comma and I'll put what? A semicolon. And then semicolon. 22nd, comma, Friday and yesterday. Finish. See how it makes it so simple. Now it's readable and understandable. We can understand, yes, 5th ko gaye, 18th ko gaye, 22nd ko gaye, or yesterday bhi gaye. Clear? So it's become 4 days we went to school. Understood? Now that's semicolon. Let's try to see the other one. Next is hyphen. Now what is hyphen? Yes, we always use hyphen, but we didn't know the name over there. What we use, we always call it as dash. Big mistake. We will try to understand the difference between hyphen and a dash. But before that, let's try to understand what's a hyphen. To join two or more words in a compound word. We learned about compound nouns, right, in fourth standard. Just like that. That is, for example, happy-go-lucky, high speed, ice cream, mind blowing, mother in law, 21, warm blooded, well to do. Now, please try to understand that in this, when you write a hyphen, you will have no space when you're typing. Okay, if for example you're typing in the laptop. Okay, so when I'm using hyphen, you will not put space between two words. Okay, it will be without a space. But what about a dash? Let's try to understand a hyphen versus dash. Now, hyphen is also a dash, but what is an actual dash? Let's try to understand. Okay, hyphen is small, very tiny. A dash is much bigger than that. Okay, now in dash, you will have space, dash, space. When you're typing in the computer, okay, I told you you should not have space, you will not leave space in the hyphen, right? दो words के बीच में hyphen आएगा तो space नहीं छोड़ने का. But when dash will come, पहला space छोड़ने का, dash लिखने का, वापस space छोड़ने का. Clear? So a dash is used to express a range of numbers, dates, or time. So for example, first one, this is not what I'm telling you. I am giving you a sentence. This is a sentence which says, count the numbers from 1 to 100. There is a range. क्या range है इधर? 1 to 100. तो 1 to 100 में ये 2 को हटा सकते हैं हम लोग, and we can put a dash. इधर dash आएगा. 1 space dash space 100. Clear? Next. Next क्या है? Gandhi ji lived from 1869 to 1948. Now again there is a range. ये period से ये period तक. It's a range. Okay, यहाँ से यहाँ तक. For that, again you can remove that 2 and put a dash. Clear? Okay. Once again, where and all again does a dash is a dash used? That is to mention an abrupt change of thought in a sentence. Now, I'm talking something, मैं कुछ बोल रहा है, suddenly मेरा दिमाग हट गया उसमें से और मैं कुछ और बोल रहा है. Clear? I'm talking something, then I think of something and I talk something else, something really different of what I just spoke. So for example, let's try to understand. Ruth dreams of climbing up the tall mountains. Then suddenly मेरा दिमाग change होता है. अरे but she hates to walk a mile though. उसको एक मील 1 mile walking के लिए भी इतना different है कि she can't walk itself. उसको walk करने, she hates to walk. How is it possible that she is going to climb a mountain? That's my thought. It's a totally different and abrupt change of mind. I'm thinking of her climbing the mountain. Suddenly I'm thinking, अरे but she doesn't like to walk. So there's an abrupt change. Here's also where you will use a dash. And see to it that the S, the next line, will not have a capital letter. It will continue with the small letter. Now, don't get confused. This is not going to come for your exam, or it's not in your portion. This dash is not going to come, okay? But I'm teaching this to you so that you have an idea of what's a hyphen, what's a dash, so that you don't say dash for everything. Sub hyphen ko dash. Sub ko dash. Don't do that, okay? Now, try to understand this dash will not come in formal lecture, sorry, formal literature or फॉर्मल लेटर्स जो भी आता है उसमें फॉर्मली टेक्स्ट बुक में नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज दिस इज एक्चुअली वेरी इनफॉर्मल, especially when you are giving us when you are acting or you are giving some dialogues, or in movies and all. That's where this kind of sentence will come. You're talking something, suddenly you're talking something else. Okay, so don't worry, this will not be, it's not a formal kind of a dash, it's a very informal dash, a very informal kind of a sentence also. Clear? Now, finally, you need to understand this. Yes, the three types of dashes. The first, hyphen. Chota wala, very chota. That is 5-year-old. You see, hyphen is used there, there is no space. Then is N dash, E-N. N is small, remember. Chota wala. She worked here from 2015 to 2019. The biggest dash, that is M dash. See, can you see M is again big? The space we're talking about, okay? The space that it occupies. So M dash is Bob was tired, exhausted really, but knew he could not rest. Can you see how this change of thought? Bob was tired, exhausted really, but knew he could not rest. So this is actually happening in when you are doing acting, or that time when you're giving dialogues. That's when such kind of dashes will be used, such kind of language will be used. Okay, so you should understand that. So these are the three types of dashes: hyphen, N dash, and M dash. Clear? Now that's what you've understood. Let's see the last one. That's apostrophe. Now what's an apostrophe? See on the right hand side corner, upar dekho, mark kaisa hai? Upar. The comma is not down. This is an apostrophe which has the comma up. Upar hai. ठीक है? Now to show possession, that is before adding S डालने से पहले you will use an apostrophe. Again, before using an S, you will use apostrophe. Where you will use that S? Whenever you're showing possession. For example, there's John over there sitting on a cycle. Cycle किसका है? John का है. How would you write it? John's cycle. So how do you write that? John apostrophe S. John apostrophe S. Apostrophe will come before the S. See, pay careful attention. Before the S, it will come. Okay. Next, to show possession. Now this is after the S. Now this is, we are not adding. पहला sentence में हम add कर रहे. This is again showing position, but इसमें S नहीं आएगा. कभी S नहीं आएगा. Basically सब में you have to add S. अभी for example Aksha's laptop. तो Aksha ACHSAH apostrophe S. Aksha's laptop. वैसा सबका नाम के पहले if you have to use possession, you can use that. But when will the possession of S will be after S? That is when someone's name is like James. James बोलो, विकास बोलो, Silas. इन सबका नाम के लास्ट में क्या आता है? S. Can you see? JAMES. This is the biggest problem. Whenever they have their names as ending with S, that time the apostrophe will come, but S will not come. If you put an S, you know how it will sound? James cycle. It's funny, right? So no, that is wrong. Okay. Whenever S will come at the end, you will not add the S. Remove the S. Only put the apostrophe. Okay. Next one. Imagine now we saw about one cycle, John ka cycle. Now what about ye sabka, all these boys ka cycle. All of them have got their cycle. Ye sab boys ka cycle hai. Now, boys, it's a plural word. Boys ka cycle. Plural word में क्या आ गया last में? S आ गया. Okay. So, boys cycle. The last में S आ गया ना. So that is why you cannot write apostrophe and S. It is wrong. How will it sound then? Boys cycle. Correct. So please don't do that mistake. Whenever S comes at the end, you will not put the apostrophe. Okay. And so it will be only that as boys cycles. Clear? Let's see the next one. Now, that first one was to show possession. Second use of the apostrophe is to show contraction. Contraction means बड़ा वो दो big word है उसको एक बनाने का है. ठीक है? What is that? They plus will is equal to they'll. They'll. Now, they'll मतलब क्या? We always have seen they'll, but remember the apostrophe will come in the place of the letters that we remove. अभी they plus will में कौन सा words letters निकाला हम लोग ने? W निकाला, I निकाला, and in the place of W and I only you will have your apostrophe right there. Clear? Next, did not, didn't. Clear? So what you will do, what are you removing from did and not when you're joining it together? You're removing the letter O. So O के बदले apostrophe आएगा. Here so many of them make a mistake. You write DID apostrophe NT. NT एक साथ because not है ना, तो एक साथ NT. Don't do that mistake. Okay? Put it in the place of the letters that you've removed. So for example, would not. What are the words you remove from would not? O. Correct? So instead of O, in place of O, you will put the apostrophe. So when you write wouldn't, you will write WOULD and apostrophe T. Clear? Now I have, I've. What all do you remove? You remove the letters H and A. And so you get I've. And so after I, you will put the apostrophe mark right there. Clear? So I apostrophe VE. Next, we are going to the market. हम जा रहे हैं. We are going to the market. That time what will come? What are you removing from here? You're removing the letter A. And so you will have apostrophe in place of A. We apostrophe are. Clear? And that's where your apostrophe will come. Keep the names in mind. Now I've got the last one with you that we have to do. Remember, capital letter is not a punctuation mark. It is just a concept. But using a capital letter is very, very important when we learn punctuation. That is why it's given as the 10th one over here. I repeat, it is not a punctuation mark. Capital letter is not a punctuation mark. It is used here because it's an important aspect of punctuation. Punctuation में बोला तो capital letter use करना बहुत जरूरी है. Clear? That's why we're using it. That's why we are mentioning it. Sorry. Yeah. Let's begin. I put capital letter I over there because it's very, 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 very important to use a capital letter I wherever it is used. Wherever you use I, means you're talking about yourself, that time you will use a capital letter. Most of you make a big mistake, put that baby letter I. I'll give you good if you do that, okay? Do not do that. Next. First example, to begin a sentence. Now, what is that? You know this, there are 8 planets. So when you start with the sentence, you use a capital letter, all right? Here you use the capital letter T. Then to begin all proper nouns, you know proper nouns? Yes, you know absolutely very well. So for example, I'm writing India. So my I will be capital. I write Tina, T will be capital. Taj Mahal, T will be capital. M will be also capital. Nile, N will be capital. April, A will be capital. Asia, A will be capital. Now, so when whatever proper nouns you use, you're going to use a capital letter. Clear? Next, to write the pronoun I. If you have to write the pronoun I, okay, that is मैं. Whenever I'm talking about मैं, you will use a capital letter, as I already mentioned before. For example, I, it's the start of the sentence, so you will make it capital. Also, I don't know whether I, also over here, मैं, it's talking about me, मैं. Again, you will use the capital letter I. I will come for the party. Understood? Okay, so this is what we've learned. This is all that our punctuations are about. Now let me see whether you've understood very well. The game is or behind all these beautiful Barbie dolls, there are some marks, okay, punctuation marks. What you have to do is guess the guess the right name of the punctuation mark. So all of you, out onto your chat boxes.